Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and a lot of you guys in my comments of all my different other various videos have been asking me for my commentary on the infighting in MAGA world related to the H1b Visa system, so I think it's important for me to explain this to you, explain my position, so you know where I'm at, which side I'm on. Also, I do want to point out that disagreement is not necessarily a civil war, so everybody needs to calm down to a certain extent based on the idea that people are disagreeing on this. However, I do think there is one true correct position on this particular issue, and that's what I want to talk about today. But before I do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
Mind on H1b Visa, sir.
I didn't change my mind. I've always felt we have to have the most competent people in our country. We need competent people. We need smart people coming into our country. And we need a lot of people coming in. We're going to have jobs like we've never had before.
But sir, you said you changed your position.
So that was former president and current president-elect Donald J. Trump being asked directly on his position and his changing position or evolving position on the H1b Visa situation, because this has perked up a lot in the news because a lot of immigration hardliners have been talking about the problems in the program. However, on the other side of the issue, you have people like Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, and some notable others like Patrick Bet-David that are defending the program. And for those of you who are unaware, the H1b Visa system is specifically designed, or supposed to be specifically designed, to draw in and allow people with specialty skills that we could not normally find in the United States of America to come over here in order to perform those tasks in the US. And ideally, a program like this that appears to be merit-based should be something that we can all get behind, because if we're going to have an immigration system, it should work for the benefit of the population that is here. Again, the American people are allowed to determine who they want in and who they want out of their nation. However, I will say somebody actually really woke me up on this particular issue, because I thought specialty skill visa, that's not really the big major immigration problem. And that person was nuanced, bro, because he explained to me that essentially what is going on is that this program is being used and abused by employers in order to underpay American workers who do have those specialty skills, while bringing in a bunch of foreign workers that are disproportionately from India.
Democrats and the establishment had an incredible Christmas. They won Christmas. They caused the division, Musk versus Trump, and it worked, and everybody fell for it. And by the way, if you're on the far right or the far left, you're not going to like this video. I'm going to give you a case on both sides, pro and against, and you say, no, I don't agree with you, it's totally fine. Well, let me give you some data here for you to be thinking about. What percentage of billion-dollar startups in America do you think were started by an immigrant? Again, I, an immigrant, not born in America, I came here legally. I came and started a business in America that became $1 billion. What percentage of all the billion-dollar startups in America do you believe were started by an immigrant? Do you think it's 10%, 20%, 30%? What if I told you it's 55%? 55% of billion-dollar startups in America was founded by an immigrant that wasn't born here? Yes. Do you want those jobs in America?
You see, one of the things that I find annoying about this Patrick Bet-David video, and about many of the people who are arguing in favor of the H1b Visa system, is that essentially they're using the same exact tactics that the left uses in order to argue for unfettered illegal immigration, which is, of course, citing isolated positive statistics like the one you just heard right there about foreign people starting billion-dollar companies at an extraordinary rate. Again, this is good. This is a positive thing. I want those people there. But what we're talking about when we're discussing illegal immigration is illegal immigration from Central America. The amount of people that illegally immigrate to the United States of America to start billion-dollar companies do not represent a huge portion, if any, of that 55%. Also, the same is true when they talk about CEOs that are foreign-born in the United States. They talk about that as a way to push, again, illegal migration from the third world, but in reality, those CEOs are basically from 2 or 3 countries or 2 or 3 ethnic backgrounds. So what Patrick Bet-David is doing right here is talking about H1b visas, and instead of arguing about the positives of H1b visas, he's saying, look, immigrants that come into the United States, definitely not through H1b visas, they started 55% of the billion-dollar companies in this country. Again, this has nothing to do with what I'm trying to defend. I use use this program in order to hire people on the cheap from abroad because I don't want to pay Americans. But do you really not want those jobs here? Do you really want those jobs to be back in India? Because, we're really passing up on a lot of startups in the United States of America by not importing all these Indians from India because you don't support the H1b visa system, you dumb idiot. Now, of course, if you come to the United States of America on an H1b, you quite literally have to work for someone else, so you're not starting any billion-dollar company in the United States of America. You would have to get a continuation on some other way to legally migrate to the United States of America. So if you're actually going to start a business, the last thing you would want to do is come in on an H1b visa where you can't start a business. So again, this idea that we need the Indians here to start businesses, that's why we need the H1b system, is completely false and ridiculous, and it's shameful that Patrick Bet-David is arguing like this against his own audience when he wouldn't accept this same exact reasoning of broadening it out to all immigrants when it comes to unfettered illegal immigration. Now look, to be 100% clear, I mention India because it is relevant to this discussion, because if you look at a chart of people admitted on the H1b visa system, what you'll see is that almost all the other countries combined don't add up to the amount of people that are coming in to this country from India under this specific program. However, what I'm not going to do throughout the course of this particular video is do what I see on Twitter, which is show you different various clips of disgusting behaviors, disgusting practices, bad sanitation, people taking craps out in the middle of the public in the nation of India, because while those videos are actually accurate to the conditions in that particular nation, the fact of the matter is it kind of completely bogs down the message and obscures the point, which is not to say that India is this not great place that has many problems, but it's to talk about the impact of the H1b visa system on Americans themselves.
American workers are losing jobs because of a law designed to help the job market. The H1b visa bill was written in 1990. It lets companies recruit foreign talent for emerging engineering and scientific jobs, but loopholes allow for outsourcing of American jobs to foreign workers, often at lower pay.
Because again, you have a lot of people that are programmers. And by the way, one of the reasons why Elon Musk is on board for this is because they use this to lure in good mathematical talent at cheap prices. But people who are programmers in the United States of America who would be earning six-figure incomes that are being completely priced out by these foreign, largely Indian workers. And one of the reasons why this is something that is able to be exploited by these major corporations is because of a fundamental flaw in the H1b visa system, and that is, in order to come to the United States of America, you need to already have a job, you need to already be sponsored by an employer, which means if you are fired by said job, if you are let go by said employer, then you will be deported back to your home country, which sounds good on the surface, it sounds sensible, you don't want these people to come over on these specialty visas and not actually work, but the fact of the matter is, this allows employers to pay them less because their status of being able to live in the United States of America is inherently tied to the fact that they're working for that company. It's actually very difficult for an H1b visa holder to switch occupations, and because of that, they are often paid less money, they are often taken advantage of by the company that they're working for, and again, because they're working or willing to work for so much cheaper than regular ordinary Americans, this is at the detriment of regular ordinary Americans. Now again, a lot of people are trying to put this down to a race issue or something of the sort, but the fact of the matter is, high-end mathematical talent in the United States of America also skews disproportionately Asian and will often skew disproportionately Indian. So a lot of American-born Indian workers that go into the tech sector are among those people who get priced out by these foreign workers.
It wasn't called training or replacement. It was called knowledge transfer.
Craig D'Angelo worked for Northeast Utilities, now called Eversource, and was one of 220 IT workers replaced by H1b visa employees. D'Angelo says his replacement, a worker from India, told him he was making half D'Angelo's salary with no benefits.
I didn't get laid off for lack of work. I got laid off because somebody cheaper could do my job.
We met with this group of workers who all had to train replacements. Leo Pereiro had just received high performance reviews from Disney. When he was called into a personnel meeting, he expected a raise and a promotion.
And instead,
I was given the news that in 90 days, my job was over, and I had to train my replacement. Never in my life did I imagine, until this happened at Disney, that I could be sitting at my desk and somebody would be flown in from another country, sit at my same desk and chair, and take over what I was doing. It was the most humiliating and demoralizing thing I've ever gone through in my life.
Now look, there are a bunch of horror stories related to the H1b visa system where you have people talking about how they're pulled in by their employer and told that they have to train their new H1b visa Indian replacements in order to get severance pay, and if they don't train them, they will be fired immediately. And again, you might say, Sean, no big deal, workers get fired and new workers get hired for cheaper all the time, but the fact of the matter is, the point or the stated point of the H1b visa system is specifically not this. The point of this system is supposed to be to bring in talent and skills that we would not normally ordinarily have in the United States of America to this country, to improve this country, to help the American people, to help American businesses, but not directly at the expense of the American people. So again, it's one thing to say that they're being outcompeted for cheaper prices by regular ordinary things that occur in the market, but the fact of the matter is, this isn't a regular ordinary thing that occurs. This is something that the US government specifically set up, and they run in a way that is beneficiary not to the American people, but to these corporations, and again, to these foreign Indian workers. And the scandals, again, in the H1b visa system are too numerous to name. In fact, prior to the election, on October of 2024, we reached a conclusion in a discrimination lawsuit that was filed against a New Jersey-based company that gathers these employees and basically sends them over to different Silicon Valley companies. And what did we end up finding out that these companies were doing, or this specific company was doing? Discriminating against non-Indians. Headline: a jury finds discrimination in H1b visa tech worker case. A New Jersey-based company that supplies IT workers throughout Silicon Valley and the Bay Area was intentionally discriminating against non-Indian workers and abusing the H1b process, according to a jury. The company that supplies thousands of workers for Silicon Valley and their technology industry and other Bay Area employees intentionally discriminated against non-Indian workers. The verdict against Cognizant, founded in Chennai, now headquartered in New Jersey, came Friday in a class action lawsuit that revolved around claims that the firm was abusing the H1b visa process. The visa is intended for workers with specialized skills, and Silicon Valley tech firms rely heavily on it to secure top talent and also to obtain workers for lower level jobs via Cognizant and other staffing firms. 3 U.S.-born workers described in the lawsuit as Caucasian sued Cognizant and U.S. District Court in Los Angeles in 2017, and this lawsuit was joined by another plaintiff described as Caucasian later, and the lawsuit claimed that they ousted non-Indian workers specifically by taking them off projects and benching them without work, then keeping them benched until firing in accordance with company policy. Now again, this is one specific lawsuit, but make no mistake about it, these firms, like this New Jersey-based firm, are a big deal. They are the recruiting mechanism in order to get these H1b visa holders over to Silicon Valley, and the fact of the matter is they lost in a jury trial with 4 defendants suing them based on the idea that they were discriminating specifically against Caucasian people. So the idea that this is what Vivek Ramaswamy or Patrick Bet-David are selling to us, an example of Indians just out-competing everybody, out-earning everybody, and therefore everybody should just shut up and stop being so desperate for DEI in favor of white people, is not proven out by the facts. Again, if this were the case, if Indian people were out competing Americans, like they do, by the way, in many different categories, again, they are the highest income earning demographic in the United States, in Canada, in the United Kingdom, you know I wouldn't be talking about this. You know I wouldn't be discussing this. You know I wouldn't be condemning them for their success success. In fact, I would argue for people to emulate the work ethic and all the things that make them successful. But obviously, when you're looking at the H1b visa program and you see how heavily it is skewed specifically towards Indian workers, and you understand how these firms abuse the fact that if these workers get fired, they get deported back to their home country in order to pay them less money, there are significant problems here. There is definitely an issue, and reforms are needed. And by the way, to be 100% fair, many in the Democratic Party have proposed reforms to this program, or maybe not many, but many more than Republicans historically, based on the concerns that I've laid out. Again, this is supposed to be for special skills that we don't normally have. If there's a great surgeon or a great doctor in India that we don't have the equivalent of in the United States of America, then yeah, have them apply, have them come over here, bring those skills to the United States of America. I'm completely on board with. However, what we're seeing time and time again is that you have low-grade programmers or low-grade skills that are being replaced because in the United States of America, these companies would have to pay a premium for them, and essentially they're able to exploit this to bring in this foreign population, bring in their family, and it is often at the expense of the American people, but also at the expense of other immigrants who would be qualified to work in those positions that happen to have the wrong skin tone. Now look, to reemphasize a point that I brought up earlier, this has absolutely nothing to do with Indian people as an ethnicity or anything of the sort, and this has nothing to do with actually legitimately talented Indian people who have skills that we want to bring to the United States of America that we don't have enough of in the United States of America. This is specifically about Indians appearing to know how to game the system more than any other group of people, Indians from abroad, and corporations being perfectly satisfied importing these workers because for whatever reason, they seem to be more willing to take crap pay and basically live under the conditions of the H1b visa program. If we reform this program, if we get out these brokers that are specifically discriminating in favor of Indian people, if we attach them to a specific industry and make sure that they're able to have a job rather than be tied to a specific company that could pay them less, if we try to incentivize them being paid the proper rate rather than just undercutting American rates, then this is a program that is valuable. This is a program that is worth keeping. And honestly, when all of those parameters are met, usually the program works to the good, and I'm all on board with it. But the fact of the matter is, right now, there are significant problems in it, and we do have to point out that Trump is on the wrong side of this as of right now. He's actually changed his position multiple different times. Elon Musk is on the wrong side of this, but this is understandable. The guy has worked in tech and obviously has been reliant on these H1b visa holders, and Vivek Ramaswamy is also on the wrong side of this. And again, this makes sense based on the various industries that he's worked in, not based solely on his ethnic origin. Again, people relax with the videos of the Indians taking dumps at the beach. This is not what we're trying to talk about. I know an Indian person. I know few Indian people. One of them is a close friend of mine from high school. He actually got me pots and pans that I use each and every day, and he's a normal guy who knows how to use the toilet, okay? I just want you to understand that. He's not doing any of the stuff that you're seeing in the videos, and it is completely unnecessary for us to throw random Indian people under the bus or even highlight the horrible conditions in the nation of India when we're talking specifically about this H1b visa program. The issue isn't that they're coming over here, getting a job at Facebook and taking a crap in the lobby at Facebook. Honestly, I would find that to be kind of hilarious and kind of well deserved, especially when you see all those videos with a day in the life at Facebook where all these woke feminists aren't doing anything all day. The problem is these companies are exploiting this in order to undercut American workers, and that is American workers that have these skills of all ethnic backgrounds. So everybody relax, everybody chill out, everybody calm down on those specific posts, just because, honestly, I don't want to see them in my timeline, okay? We all understand. India, not the best place in the world. India, horrible sanitary conditions. We all get that. We all understand we don't want to import those habits. But the issue right here is importing people that undercut regular, ordinary American workers, or honestly, not even regular, ordinary American workers, but premium American workers that go to school, they get educated, they have the mathematical skills, and then they find out they've been completely undercut in the market through a program that was never meant to bring in workers to compete with them. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. As per usual, if you like this video, show me by leaving a like. You can subscribe for more content. Follow me on all my social medias. So you can support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about the H1b Visa debacle. Till next time.